Today in this video, I'm gonna try to survive 100 days as Boruto in Minecraft. This basically means I can only use what Boruto uses, such as nature elements, jutsus, and clans. However, there is a twist. Every 15 levels I get in the Naruto mod, I get a randomized item that Boruto has. This could be clothing, this could be nature elements, this could be jutsus, basically anything. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. To start off on this 100-day adventure, I loaded up in a brand new world and got 3 free items. One of the items was my chakra paper. Since I'm playing as Boruto, I can't really use the clan that it gave me, but I could use the lightning. Day 1 was basically just basic Minecraft. I went around and chopped down some trees and headed into the nearest cave. I went inside a cave and mined some iron. It took me a little bit to find some coal, but I eventually found them. Now, since I was playing with the mod pack, there were other mods, and that means other materials inside the cave. I mined some of them, but I left most of them since I don't really know what they do. After gathering enough iron and coal to make it through some time, I smelted them and went hunting for food. Since I'm just starting out in this mod pack, I gained a lot of levels quickly. Each 1 or 2 kills was basically like one whole level. Now, since the cave didn't really go farther down, I just grabbed my stuff and searched for a new one. While I was searching, I stumbled across this golem that was pretty weak. After traveling a little bit, I stumbled across a ravine with a bunch of dogs on the edge. Since I was killing skeletons on the way here, I had a couple bones, so I tried to tame as many as I could. I only managed to tame 2 of them, which I could later on breed for more. After taming some dogs, I jumped down to the ravine, and I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot they would follow me. Luckily enough, both the dogs lived on a drop and I gave them some food. However, when I was exploring the ravine, I heard some noises and I looked back and both my dogs fell in lava. This was really unfortunate. I didn't have enough time to save them and they just died. I then found a mine shaft inside that ravine, which I went to go explore. Now, this mine shaft wasn't really that big. It was pretty small, so I didn't really get a single chest in it. I explored all the different paths, killed some mobs, and just left. Near the end of the ravine, I found another ravine that was connected to it. And I found another mine shaft to explore. I was trying to find mine shafts because there were some items that you can't really get by crafting in the Naruto mod, so I tried to find them inside the chests. But that didn't really go as planned. I found a couple chests inside the mine shaft, but there wasn't really any Naruto items that was found. Then I finally stumbled across the cave spider spawner. I killed a few spiders since I wanted to level up a little bit more. Now, right when I was about to head out, I spotted some diamonds at the end of the ravine, so I quickly jumped down, killed a creeper, and mined the diamonds. After mining the diamonds, I didn't really need to mine anymore, so I just headed back to the surface. On the way to the surface, I stumbled across this cave that was leading upwards, so I followed it, and eventually I found a skeleton spawner. Now, with this specific Naruto mod, every kill I get is XP, so I wanted to make a mob grinder with this. I set up a small little base outside the spawner and went to go loot the chests. I didn't get anything too crazy though. After killing some skeletons, I eventually hit level 15, which basically means I get a brand new jutsu. I unlocked the one and only Shadow Clone Jutsu that Boruto has. I ran outside and tested it and realized that every time I kill something, I get the XP too. But the downside is it only has 1 HP, so it basically just gets one shot. For the next couple nights, I basically just went around and killed a bunch of mobs to level up. I finally hit level 30 and it was time to do the Genin exams. If you guys have been enjoying this video so far, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. Go ahead and follow my Twitch as well as my Twitter. The first task was pretty simple. I already had the items, so I just went back to my chest and collected them. However, the second task was simple, but I had to find an ocelot, which means I need to find a jungle. So I went traveling through a lot of biomes. I found this giant desert mountain, which I couldn't break any of the blocks, so I don't really know what it was for. A magical forest, a different type of savanna, taiga, and eventually found a jungle. After finding the jungle, I quickly grabbed out my exam book and tried to find an ocelot. Now, it took me a little bit. It took me until sunset until I found an ocelot. I quickly ran at it and caught it. Now, the third and final part of the exam was grabbing a piece of wheat, which I thought was so much easier than finding an ocelot. And I also remembered that I stumbled across a village on the way here, so I just went backwards. I went back to where I came from and finally found the village. I stole a piece of wheat and I completed the exams. I got a little stat boost, but I was finally a Genin. After I became a Genin, it was still nighttime, so I just farmed up some mobs in the desert. Since I was still pretty far away from my base, whenever it became daytime, I decided just to go head home. When I eventually got to my base, I decided that I needed more XP, so I decided to make my skeleton spawner. I made a pretty quick one. I just dug out some blocks that were surrounding it and placed some water. After I finished making it, I decided to try my shadow clones on it, and luckily enough, it works. I could basically spawn in some shadow clones and go work on my base, and I could still get some XP. I basically just started farming some skeletons after I finished making it to get my next jutsu. I got wind, but I completely forgot I had lightning, so I decided to learn lightning first. I grabbed the learner and started learning some moves. Now, since Boruto can't really use Chidori like that, I stopped learning it after I saw there was Chidori in the lightning moveset. These jutsus weren't the best, but it was my first jutsu, so I used them. I'm not gonna lie, the only jutsu that I really wanted to use was the mode, so that's what I used. Everything else I didn't think I would use, so I just tossed them aside. To finish off my nature training, I grinded more skeletons until I reached level 60, which I got my final nature. I got the water learner, but I put that aside as well. I kinda got tired of killing skeletons over and over, so I decided to try something new. I wanted to start getting enchantments as well as go to the nether, so I decided to grab my 5 diamonds and make a pickaxe. I started going down a cave and eventually reached the lava pit. Luckily enough, there was also diamonds. I mined the diamonds as well as exactly 14 blocks of obby. Now, I kind of lost the footage, but I planted a lot of sugarcane before I got down here, so I just mined some up and made some paper. After using all the resources I had, I realized that I could only make an enchanting table and 3 bookshelves. I created a little space for an enchantment room as well as a nether portal. After placing all the blocks, I headed to the surface to kill more cows. I needed a lot more leather, so I went to the surface, mined up some gravel to get some flint, and killed some cows, as well as chopped down some more trees. It took a little bit before I had enough bookshelves for a level 30 enchantment. I also hit level 75 in the process of gathering all the resources, so I was rewarded with some Boruto clothing. This was kind of perfect timing since I needed armor to enchant either way. I could only enchant 1 piece of armor with all the levels I had, but I then farmed up some skeletons to get more XP. And since it was 1.7.10, it was pretty simple to get XP. While I was exploring the surface, I stumbled across some NPCs which gave some quests. Now, since I was only a Genin, I could only do one of the quests, which basically made me babysit. I had to patiently wait a whole minute before I could turn the quest in. So I basically just dug a hole and waited. Now, after I finished the quest, it wasn't really worth it. I barely got any XP and any money. After enchanting everything I had, it was time to defeat the Ender Dragon. I headed inside my nether portal and spawned next to a fortress, which is pretty lucky. Since I was in the nether, I decided to learn some wind jutsus. Now, honestly, I didn't really like the mode. I like lightning better, and also the jutsus just push opponents back. I still use them though for now, since I really was limited. I went to the fortress and spotted my first blaze spawner, and farmed some blaze. After farming some blazes, I went to go explore the nether fortress. I looked through a lot of chests, but I couldn't really find anything that I needed. After I had enough blaze powder for the eye of enders, I decided to just head back. While I was heading back, I spotted this hive and bees spawned around it, so I guess there's bees in the nether. While I was in the nether, I hit level 90 killing some blazes, and I got Rasengan. It scales off of my stats, so right now I only did about like 90 to 50 damage. I went outside to try it out and I kinda got exploded by a creeper, and also this werewolf spawned right beside me. I used my Rasengan, but it really only did 1 damage to the werewolf, so I spawned in my shadow clones and that took care of him. I think it was absorbing my jutsus since I didn't know what was happening. I killed the werewolf and I eventually learned my water jutsus. I basically stopped learning water jutsus after it said shark, since Boruto didn't really use any sharks. The water jutsus were also not the best. One just created a small little wall that anything could walk past, and the other one just basically shot water balls, which my axe did more damage. However, one of the jutsus trapped enemies in like this water cage was pretty cool, so I kept that one. I stored my items inside my chests and kept the valuable items. After testing out my jutsus for a little bit, I eventually hit level 105, which basically means I was ready for my Chunin exams. Now, since the first task was to get Eye of Enders, I decided to just take some time and get myself some Eye of Enders. Gunpowder was pretty simple, all I had to do was kill a creeper. I got enough Eye of Enders for the portal, as well as the Chunin exams. That wasn't really too difficult, but the second task, I had to fight ninjas. This was basically the first time I fought some NPCs in the mod pack, so I didn't really know what to expect. It took a little bit before I found my first one, but I only 2-shot it, so it wasn't really too difficult. Now, if you wonder why I don't have a sword, it's cause I can't really use one. In this mod pack, I had to get 150 Kenjutsu for me to use one, and mine was at 0. I then spotted 3 Genins at the same time, and they all had more HP than the first one I fought. I took them down, and they actually poisoned me, which I was kinda confused. I didn't get a single scroll from one of them, so I didn't really know if I was fighting the right Genins. However, I found 3 more Genins that looked exactly like the ones previously, and I defeated them, and I got 2 of the same scrolls. Then after 2 days of not finding any Genins, I eventually found 3 more, and I got the final scroll. I went past phase 2 into phase 3, and I had to defeat this boss. I right clicked my paper and it spawned this boss underneath me, which was pretty simple. It could use a fireball jutsu that scared me, I'm not gonna lie. But I eventually just used my water style to cage it up and hit it. Now, after I killed it, I didn't realize I got the token until later on, so I fought 2 more. And now I got 3 different tokens for the same thing, so I just right clicked it and completed it. I was now officially a Chunin. After ranking up, I think it was time to defeat the Ender Dragon. I went back to my base and packed up all my stuff that I thought was, valuable, and I just left. I threw my first Eye of Ender and started my adventure. After traveling some distance, my Eye of Ender eventually went backwards, which I knew I passed it. I then found where the eye went downwards and started digging. I arrived in the stronghold and looted some chests. I threw some stuff that I didn't really need in there as well. The portal wasn't really anything too crazy, I just walked a few blocks and found it. I mined up the silverfish and put in my Eye of Enders. I went inside the portal and immediately headed to the towers. Since I was a ninja, I could climb the towers easily and just destroy the crystals. Now, right after I destroyed a crystal, I wanted to quickly go to another tower, so I right clicked my lightning move and I almost fell off the edge. I kinda panicked. Luckily enough, the cooldown wasn't really too long, so I just did it back. Now, after I destroyed the crystals, this is where I realized I made a mistake. I completely forgot to bring a bow, and my Rasengan didn't really do any damage to the dragon. The only thing I had that did damage was my axe, and I couldn't really just, fly towards it. I climbed up on the tower and waited patiently. I couldn't really fly towards it, so I had to wait until the Ender Dragon came towards me. After some time, I eventually killed it and grabbed all the XP that I dropped. I also wanted the eggs, so I put down a torch and mined it. There were no end cities in this version, so I just left. I hopped in the portal and spawned right back to the beginning. Now, I didn't really know where my base was, so I couldn't really just go back. And I also had one more boss to face, which was the Wither, so I decided to travel around until I found a lava pit. Now, I didn't really remember how to do the speedrun tactic, so I messed up a few times, but I eventually made the portal. I went inside the Nether again, and luckily enough, I spawned in the same portal as back home. I went to the same Nether fortress and waited patiently for some withers. It took a little bit before some spawned, and I'm not gonna lie, this took a little bit. But after some time, I eventually grabbed enough wither skulls. I mined some soul sand and I headed out. I spawned back to my old base, which was pretty cool. I took this time to look at my chest and see if I could get anything. I used up my last bits of diamonds to craft a helmet. Then I grabbed my wind learner and learned all the jutsus. Now I wish I had Boruto's lightning Rasengan, but the closest thing to it was the Rasen Shuriken, so I just learned that instead. I went to the surface and waited for day, and I spawned the Wither. Now this boss fight was way easier than the Ender Dragon. I could actually hit it and my axe did more damage, and I also had the Rasen Shuriken. I threw some Rasen Shurikens and it did a lot of damage, and then I threw another one, and then I hit it with my axe. I defeated the Wither on day 98. But I wasn't completely done. I had one boss fight that I wanted to do, or should I say try. I located the Ninetales, and I tried to defeat it, but it didn't go as planned. It almost killed me, so I quickly had to run away. I couldn't just die. I was completely underprepared to fight the Ninetales. And that is the end of Minecraft 100 Days as Boruto. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, comment down below what your favorite part was, and also comment down below what other characters I should be.
You just watched the 5 videos, SeeKaaaahh got the new content on the roll, videos never coming out slow. Subscribers you already know, like and comment down below, hit the bell to never miss a show, sleep a cell, kill this outro, yeah.